Casablanca, a port city on the western Atlantic coastline of Morocco and the country's biggest metropolis. Many visitors to Morocco skip Casablanca and head straight to the tourist hotspots of Marrakesh and Fez. But I've come here to seek out authentic Moroccan life. Casablanca has a rich colonial legacy as it was occupied by the French for nearly 50 years in the 1900s. It's a city of contrasts, both traditional and modern, Moroccan and European, and it's this unique mixture that has led me here. The city has an old Medina which dates to the 1500s, several hundred years before the French arrived, and it's one of the oldest neighborhoods in Casablanca. I'm meeting up with a local, Mohammed, and we're visiting the Medina a few hours before the breaking of fast, as it's currently the month of Ramadan, and locals fast during daylight hours. So we are going to go into the old Medina now. It's a very beautiful entrance. Boulangerie, patisserie. Sounds very French. Petite tarts. So you can really see the French influence, right? So Mohammed's just telling me, like behind me, for example, typical loads of bread being sold right now because it's a couple of hours before everyone's going to break their fast. And Mohammed was telling me that, you know, you would never ever eat a traditional Moroccan meal, break your fast without bread. It's the most important thing. You see there's so many people because it's like the rush to get food before they break the fast. So loads of people queuing up for food. Everyone's very hungry. This is amazing. Like, I feel like this is like real local life. Completely surrounded by locals. Everyone's going about their day. It's so much bread. Unbelievable. All this vegetables. Wow. Just going down the street, it's so busy, there are so many people. Mohammed's telling me that everyone loves making tagines as well, so like you can see like amazing, the fresh, look at the fresh meat all hanging. So Mohammed's telling me that actually a lot of the meat on offer is turkey because, you know, we're in the old quarter and it's actually cheaper than lamb, so you can see that people try to make tagine with turkey and that works out cheaper. This is chicken, so it's a bit cheaper than the turkey, but you know, for Ramadan people want something special. You have like maybe the wealthier people that will go for the lamb and the beef. And then, you know, maybe some other people that want to be a bit more economical will choose, you know, turkey and then chickens as well. Wow, look at all these oranges. They look so tasty and delicious, making fresh orange juice. Most eaten fish in Casablanca is sardines. So there's so many sardines, they're very cheap, nutritious, and you've got the port right here, so it's a huge fishing industry and it's mainly sardines. So you can see how many sardines there are. It's amazing. Walking through the fish market now, so it smells very fishy. Got amazing fish, wow, so much fish. All sorts of white fish, tuna. Wow. He's showing me the sheep's head, and like they eat sheep's head, they eat the cow's feet. They're used to eating like all parts of the animal. So this stall is selling horse meat, and Mohammed is telling me they do also actually eat horse meat. I mean, it's not that popular, but you know, you can see people are buying it, and you know, people cook with it. Now that we're walking through the market, you can feel like it's getting a lot less busy. So we had this huge rush, everyone buying food, ready to break the fast, and now like it's really clearing out and it's like a lot calmer. It smells really good. That's like fresh sardines, so good. The old Medina isn't just limited to souks and food stalls. It's also got many winding, narrow alleyways where locals live. So it's an incredible place for seeing the traditional local way of life, which hasn't changed all that much from several hundred years ago. The narrow alleyways, crumbling buildings, and loud atmosphere are very representative of local life in the old Medina. A lot of the apartments are occupied by whole families, so you could have 3 or even 4 generations living under one roof. It's chaotic and authentic, and a very worthy place to explore. It's a real glance into Casablanca's original character. The graffiti present all over this part of the neighbourhood are tags of one of Casablanca's major football teams, Wydad, and shows that in Casablanca and Morocco, football is a huge part of the popular culture. Mohammed explained that football allows people to express themselves, with many youngsters choosing to be in a football club supporter team instead of a political party. In Morocco, football is more than just a game for the masses. People live and breathe football, and it forms a big part of Moroccan identity. Just walking around this old Medina, the old town, and you can just see some really stunning architecture. It's like 1930s, and it's called RAWEST, so that's like very much like a mixture of French, European influence, and then Moroccan as well. So it's just very unique and incredibly beautiful just to walk around, and you look up and you've got these beautiful balconies and the mosaics, and it's really nice to just walk around and admire it. This is one of the plazas in the old Medina, which is called Place Belgique, so the Belgian Square, and you can see some really beautiful examples of the Art Deco architecture here. So you've got these beautiful motifs on the walls, balconies which look outwards towards the streets, which you wouldn't have. So right opposite the Art Deco apartments, you have Islamic apartments, and obviously they don't have the balconies that look out towards the street because very conservative, religion. It's a really great contrast of, the different buildings that you'll come across when you just walk around in the old town. Outside the old Medina, towards the coast, you can see the changing face of Casablanca, with grimy, overpopulated areas giving way to gated mansions and Beverly Hills-style streets. Driving around Casablanca, it's clear that this is a city of contrasts, where historic districts exist alongside a modern and cosmopolitan coastline. Hassan II Mosque was built for the former king's 60th birthday, and its location overlooking the ocean waves echoes a verse from the Quran, which states that God's throne was built upon the water. This mosque is absolutely stunning. There is just so much beautiful detailing, and a lot of Moroccan artisans worked on it. The fact that they decided to build such an ornate, grand monument in Casablanca really goes to show that the king wanted to put Casablanca on the map, and kind of it's like the future of Morocco. So the design of this mosque is also very unique because it blends traditional Islamic architecture, things like the domes and the arches, which is very typical of Islamic style buildings, with more Moroccan design. So when you see these colourful tiles, it's called zelige here in Morocco, and it's very reflective of that Moroccan design. You've got a lot of artisans that have always worked in the tile mosaic industry. So the blend of the two gives rise to a very unique style mosque, and very Moorish influences. So it's a very kind of unique and emblematic building here in Casablanca. I've come to Marché Central, which is a central marketplace. They have a lot of fresh fish here, and you can buy the fresh fish and take it to one of the little restaurants here in the market and have them cook it for you. So I want to try out the fish in Casablanca. It's a port city. There's lots of fresh fish on offer. Wow, so this is all the fish. Hello, hi. Wow, there's a lot of fish on offer. All from Morocco. So you got shrimp, a bit of shrimp, some calamar. Good, yeah, great. What else is good to try? I've got calamar, got shrimp, maybe some sardines, a few sardines as well. They're fresh from Morocco. Which white fish is from Morocco?
San Pedro.
Wow, San Pedro. Okay, perfect. So that's 150. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. Hi. Here. They bought the fish. I have to do some translating on the phone because I don't speak very good French, so she's kind of translating on the phone for me. Yes, with garlic a la plancha. A la plancha. Yeah. My gosh, wow. Ooh, beautiful. Thank you, shukran. That looks incredible. They call it the San Pedro or Saint Pierre. Again, it's fresh from Casablanca, and they've got a little bit of a condiment. Like, it smells quite spicy, so I'm just gonna add a bit of that to it as well. Wow. So fresh. One of the good things about coming here is that you can try all this delicious seafood, and it's so cheap. Literally 15 euros for loads of prawns, loads of calamari, huge white fish, sardines. Wow, we've got sardines coming as well. Wow, so now they've brought the sardines. Look at these sardines. Unbelievable. Sardines is one of the most common fishes that they eat here. There's so many sardines. That was an absolutely incredible lunch. The fish in Casablanca is so fresh, so tasty. And this whole, this little market is very cute. There's a lot of restaurants that you can, take the fresh fish and have them cook it for you. But most of them are shut at the moment because it's Ramadan, so during this month, a lot of them close. But I'm lucky to have found one, and that was really good. Casablanca's downtown area is filled with stunning architectural monuments built during the French occupation in the 1900s. I'm at the central square, which is called the Place Mohammed V Square, and this is where, when the French were ruling in Casablanca, this was a central square, and you can see some amazing Art Deco style buildings. So you had the French headquarters, like the government was here. You've got the post office, which is a very old building, 1920s. Amazing square, loads of pigeons. They also call it Pigeon Square because there are hundreds of pigeons as well. And one of these buildings has an amazing clock tower, and you can see the Art Deco design. there are so many beautiful buildings all around this area, which was, the French Quarter, and lots of French architects were called over here by the governor, the French governor at the time, General Layouti, and he really wanted to make Casablanca this beautiful kind of place with the European-style Art Deco architecture. And, for the French, it was going to be like the economic capital of Morocco, so they very much wanted to experiment with the architectural style. So just walking around this whole, central square and the roads around it, there are just so many gorgeous buildings. So I'm in the HABBOUS quarter and I'm about to go into the HABBOUS MEDINA, which is also called the Nouvelle MEDINA or the New Medina. So this area was built by the French in 1916, and it was built because the old Medina, which I went to yesterday, had gotten really overcrowded, very overpopulated. So the French decided to build a new Medina, modelled off the kind of Islamic architecture, so that the Moroccans that were coming over from different parts of Casablanca could come here and they'd have somewhere to live. A lot of Moroccans from all over Morocco came to Casablanca during the time that the French were here because there was a big economic boom. There was a lot of work in different industries, in the ports, textile industries. So nowadays this area here is very much a middle class, upper class neighborhood. So it's a real kind of contrast between, the old Medina that I visited and the new Medina. It's kind of a very different atmosphere, a very different vibe. Just walking around here, I can see that there's a lot of Islamic style architecture. So you'll see the arches are a very typical Islamic characteristic. And even though the French built the HABBOUS quarter, they still wanted to honor that typical Islamic architecture. So you can see the incredible designs here of the homes in the HABBOUS quarter. You've got this carving. It's all handmade by Moroccan artisans. So you've got this carving, which is called stucco here in Morocco, and you've got the mosaics, which is called the zelige tile work, and you've just got them all up the street. It's absolutely beautiful just walking around here and seeing this very unique style of architecture. So when you go down these little streets, you can often find very old workshops. You have artisans that have had their workshops for so many years and they're still working here. So I've just come across one of the artisans that repairs teapots, and it's just got a really little workshop, but it's very cute, very quaint. Again, like coming across these beautiful doors, and this is more than a century old, so you can just see the intricate carving and the detail that's gone into it. Just walking around here, it's absolutely incredible to see this. It's kind of in ruins and crumbling, but I feel like it gives it a very faded glamour. One of the things I've noticed walking through all these arches is that typically in Islamic architecture, you have the arch, and then on top of the arch, you'll always have a room. So you'll see like there's a window, and that's meant to be like the most beautiful room of the house. And it's a characteristic that you'll find anytime you're going through these Islamic type arches. That smell that I can smell is the famous pastry shop on this road, which is called Benis. It's got a lot of rich history and heritage, famous all over the world. Even the New York Times wrote an article about it, and they have all the typical Arabic sweets. So I'm going to go and buy a box of like assorted sweets and try them, because the smell, you can smell it from all the way up the road. Oh wow, I definitely want to get some. So good. Reminds me of when I was a child. Delicious, really delicious. We've got a whole box of many, many different sweets. Casablanca is a city of contrasts. The mix of modernity and traditions which is ever present in the culture and social fabric of this sprawling metropolis is what makes it so unique. What is certain is that this Moroccan city has a lot to offer. It's rich in history, full of authentic neighborhoods. Its people are down to earth and friendly. And in the middle of the seeming contradictions is a city fighting to lead Morocco into a prosperous future.